Hi, I'm Debra, business owner and mom to Gen Z kids on a mission to make sure they get hired and become financially independent as soon as possible. If you're a parent wanting to get your kids hired or a new job seeker desperately trying to get hired, this show is for you, and I am so glad you're here. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. So first of all, if you haven't listened to last week's show where I interviewed a college senior, please go back and listen because today I'm going to be elaborating on some of what her and I discussed last week, and it'll have better continuity if you hear that first. So after that show aired, several of you reached out to me sharing obviously how impressed you were by Shannon, and it definitely sparked an interest in, yikes, is my child doing enough? So first of all, let me just note, Shannon is rare, no doubt. Most students that I hear from, engage with, or read about are not doing what she's doing, my own children included, so don't panic. Again, remember the whole point of my show is to discuss things that we could all benefit from, and this is yet again another example. So here's my topic this week, and this is my not new news that I want everyone to think about today. So as the saying goes, it's not what you know, but rather who you know is just as important when it comes to landing a job out of college. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Debra, obviously, that's of course, we know that. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because it is not obvious to new job seekers, and I want to do everything I can to change that. So, in my opinion, there are two clear paths when it comes to new job seekers getting hired, and they're very simple. One is networking while in college, and two is networking while out of college, and the paths are vastly different. Both boil down to who you know situations. However, the first option of networking while in college is by far the easiest by a landslide, and here's why. So while in college, you have a plethora of resources at your fingertips, many of which Shannon mentioned last week, and the onus is on you to utilize and take full advantage of all of those resources. However, as I'm seeing over and over again, most students do not do this. So here, I've put together a little analysis, and it's kind of cheeky and silly, but these are 3 stereotypes of students in college who do not use their time there to network. So the first stereotype is what I refer to as the academic achiever. So this student is driven solely by their GPA. They are laser focused on academic success. They sacrifice social and networking opportunities in favor of studying and stellar grades, and they're determined to graduate with honors, and they see academic performance as their primary pathway to future success. However, their lack of networking and real-world exposure will make transitioning to the job market more challenging. Now, first of all, let me just say, obviously, I'm not advocating to not get good grades in college. I think that is important as well. But what I am trying to get across here is that your GPA can't be the only thing you focus on, because experience and connections are far more valuable than a GPA when it comes to landing a job. They just are. I don't make the rules. So next we have the social navigator. This student thrives on the college social scene. Where can they get their next drink? They're at every party. They're probably missing class. They are doing just enough effort to maintain passing grades, but they're prioritizing all the wrong things. And while they're having fun socially, they're certainly lacking the professional connections and practical experience to support a seamless transition into the workforce. We all know that student. And then lastly is the reluctant graduate. And I find that the majority of students are in this pool. So these kids are just ready to be done with school. They're in their end of their 3rd year or their 4th year, and they just want to, I'm air quoting here, graduate. But they haven't actually actively prepared for any next steps. So their GPA is average, and their involvement beyond classes in the university is limited. So they may have rushed a fraternity or sorority, but they really haven't participated in much at all. They haven't pursued any internships or networking or any career preparation for that matter. And this student is really going to flounder when they get home after they've graduated and have nothing to start the job search and build a professional path. So what all 3 of these stereotypes share in common is the mentality of, and again, I'm air quoting here, as soon as I graduate, I'll start looking for a job. And I can't tell you how unfortunate that thought process is, because you cannot wait until you graduate to start. The whole point of going to college is to leverage yourself into a career. So even though that the common denominator among many college graduates is this exact mentality of, as soon as I graduate, I'll start looking, not realizing the tremendous value of the infinite networking resources available while you're in college will make it that much harder to get hired post-college. And of course, that's not to say that they're not going to eventually get a job. Anything's possible. I'm just giving path of least resistance here. The easiest way to get hired out of college is to network while you're in college. So let me give you a couple examples. So at my oldest son's university, they have a career center. It's a very robust career center. It was one of the reasons why I loved this school for my kid. And they have the career center themselves has an Instagram page dedicated to all things career related. Okay, now let me just give you some statistics here that are going to blow your mind. There's 27,000 students attending his university. And guess how many followers are on that career-focused Instagram page? I know this is not an interactive podcast, so here's the answer. The answer is 3,100 followers. So 27,000 students attend the school. 3,100 are actively following the career-focused Instagram page with all the free resources. So that tells me right out of the gate, students are not paying attention to any of this. So today, for example, that page posted about a free job negotiation workshop. So the description on the workshop read, prepare to advocate for your worth and secure the compensation you deserve. Companies expect you to negotiate, and many are willing to increase their initial offer. Join us to learn how to approach negotiations with clarity and confidence. Register now. This is excellent. What a valuable workshop to attend. This should be flooded with comments, follows, all the things. Guess how many post likes this post has? This is so sad. 8. 8 people have liked this post. Now, could it be that Instagram's algorithm isn't showing it to them? Maybe, but honestly, students should be going to this page daily to look for this free information. And they're not. They're just not taking advantage, because in their head, they're thinking, salary negotiation? I don't know. I'm not even there yet. It's just, the wheels should be starting to turn on these things, especially in their 3rd and 4th year in college. So this particular Instagram page goes on to promote things like how to prepare a perfect elevator pitch, career fair preparation, including job fair checklists, and the list goes on. Truly, so many helpful resources, and yet so few students are taking advantage of any of it. Networking and securing a job before you graduate should be as important as graduating. So here's a list of resources that I put together that I think all students should be utilizing while in college to make networking a top priority. And these are things I talk to my own kids about regularly as well. So, number 1, attend office hours. I cannot stress this enough. I don't know why so many kids are so averse to office hour. They're like, yeah, I don't want to go. It's stupid. I don't know when it is. I hear a million excuses from my own children. So the value of attending office hours, and I think you should go in the beginning of class when no one's there, like beginning of the semester, check in again, 3 or 4 weeks later, pop in. The whole goal is you're trying to make connections with your professors in your major so that they know who you are. So this is very helpful when it comes to asking for letters of recommendation later, as well as potential internship offers they might know about exclusively. Now, here's a pro tip. Oftentimes, professors will have industry colleagues that reach out to them directly, looking for a dedicated student recommendation. This makes landing an internship so much easier. In this situation, the internship opportunity is likely not being posted anywhere because they don't want to deal with the minutia of going through hundreds of mediocre resumes. So instead, they're going to a colleague that they know at a school in the program that is in their vertical saying, hey, do you have a student that you would recommend for this internship? And again, if you are the student that's making those connections and showing up and saying hello and asking how you can assist or asking for additional help, you are the dedicated student they're going to think about. Okay, number 2, meet with your career center. Oftentimes I hear kids say, my school has a career center. Yes, they all have career centers. Guarantee it. Find it. Seek it out. Show up. Make an appointment. Ask how they can help you in any capacity. Start working on a resume. Start working on your Handshake profile. This should be completed. We talked about this last show, but Handshake is essentially imagine it like a mini LinkedIn just for college students. So remember, jobs are going specifically to Handshake to look for college students, and they know that's what they're going to get there. So it's like kind of a soft spot to land when it comes to looking for a job because you're not up against a sea of other applicants that are more qualified than you. Also, complete your LinkedIn profile. Here's another one. Apply to multiple internships, even if you don't know what you want to do. So one of the things I hear often from students is, well, I don't really know what I want to do, so I can't have an internship. The opposite is true. Because you don't know what you want to do is precisely why you need real-world experience. Most internships are not major specific. And many are quite general, in fact. I look at them regularly all over Handshake. Very few will stipulate, must be this major. And typically the ones that do are very STEM related. So if you're an engineering student or a math student or a science student, those internships are likely to be more specific with that. But honestly, if you're an engineering student, you likely know what you want to do. So but I'm talking about if you're a communications major, liberal studies major, business major, history major, any of those more general-based majors, that there is a ton of internships available, opportunities available for you. So it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. And remember, worst case scenario is you walk away with professional experience to add to your resume. Best case scenario is you're offered a permanent position at the end of your internship, which is what happened in Shannon's case. Okay, next one is attend career fairs. This is critical. These provide face-to-face opportunities with potential employers that you'll never get once you're out of college. Once you're out of college, remember, you're only submitting resumes blindly on LinkedIn. Nobody knows you, nobody sees you, and if you've made no networking connections, truly it's blind. So the career fair is invaluable because you get to shake hands. Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm really interested in your company, and I thought this was really great, and here's my resume, and that face-to-face is invaluable. And the last one I'm going to mention is joining academic clubs, holding positions in those clubs, and attending events. So oftentimes those academic clubs are moderated by a professor in your major. And, there are times when your professor will say, I'm going to bring in this guest speaker. He's very unique and in this, role at this company. And I really think that this could be a valuable opportunity for you guys to meet him and ask questions. And those types of things you're never going to get in a social club. So I think the academic clubs are underrated, and I absolutely think you should join at least one. So all of the things I just mentioned are part of the networking process and will all contribute getting to the who you know scenario quicker. Now, the second option I referenced earlier was networking out of college. And let me just start by saying this way is so much harder. So all of the university resources I just mentioned, like Handshake, job fairs, career centers, all of that, gone. It's all gone. Now you're limited to utilizing LinkedIn. Only now, without any support, and now you're thrown into a general sea of applicants. And this group of applicants you're up against are more qualified, more prepared, and typically have vastly more experience than you. Because remember, LinkedIn is filled with everyone from all walks of life. It is not just college grads like Handshake is. So in this scenario on LinkedIn, you don't know anyone. You're stuck submitting one mediocre resume after another, getting very few, if any, interviews because you haven't made a single connection from an internship completed while in college, through a club that you have met somebody that already works for a company you're applying to, no face-to-face opportunities at a job fair where you've met previous employers. You have not learned how to create a resume that converts, have no clue what an elevator pitch is, let alone what yours should be, and have no clue how to answer the single most common interview question, tell me about yourself. Landing a job when out of college is still very much a game of who you know, not what you know. Here are two common and likely scenarios I want you to think about. Both are similar. So, two graduates are applying for the same position at a specific company. The first person has better grades than the second, but the second had an internship at the company last summer and received constant praise for their performance while interning there. Who do you think will get the job? Well, now what about a situation where there's a new job position opening up at a prestigious company and two final candidates remain? The first candidate made the dean's list in college. But the second candidate came with a personal recommendation from a former professor that also used to work at the company. Who do you think has a better chance of getting the job? Who you know will almost always go the distance over what you know. It's human nature. We love to hire either people we know we've made a connection with that somebody else knows. It's plain and simple. Don't forget to focus on the who as much as the what in college. Do not wait. Right now, start doing something today. It will make all the difference in the world when it comes to landing a career right out of college. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. As always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please do share it with your friends. It helps me so much. And I will put details in the show notes for you as well. And I hope you have a great week, and we will talk soon.